Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the show. We are here today celebrating our 15th, 100th episode of the Cabral Concept. I'm glad you could join me. I'm excited to do this show, and probably more excited that it's actually a Cabral HouseCall, because really this is where it all started. It started with me simply 20 plus years ago being able to answer questions for clients based on the small amount of knowledge I accumulated at that point. And then as the years went by, I continued to study, I continued to read, I continued to learn from many great and brilliant mentors out there. And what I never gave up on was continuing to assimilate all forms of health, all forms of fitness, all forms of diet, and all forms of medicine. Never really believing that there was one best form. Now, there was a point in my life that I said to myself, let me see if one form of medicine gets the best results, that gets better results than anything else out there. And what I did was I actually traveled around the world, and I've shared this story before, but I traveled around the world for a good 12 months, and it wasn't all 12 months straight, but I studied in India multiple times. I was in Sri Lanka. I was in China at a traditional Chinese medicine hospital. I was in Europe studying, and of course, all over the United States. And really, at the end of the day, although I still wanted there to be that silver bullet, that one thing that would work for everyone, what I realized was this, is that if we stop seeking the silver bullet, if we stop looking really for that missing link, what we can begin to do is assimilate all forms of medicine. And we can begin to truly heal, because we can use acupuncture when needed. We can use chiropractic when needed. We can use different types of diet as needed. But really what we need to understand is that there is no one thing for everyone. There will never be one thing for everyone, because different people have different issues. There's gut issues, there's stress issues, there are all sorts of different skin, digestive, headache, autoimmune, etc. We all come with our own predisposed genetics. But again, none of that means that we have to live a life of destitute or desperation. We simply don't. And for a period of time, there may be some suffering. And there will always be suffering before we find our answer. But it's sometimes that suffering which forces us to get out there to learn new things, to speak with other people that have a different perspective. And through that, we grow. Because without that, oftentimes we just continue to kind of sail through life. It may be good, it may be bad, but we just continue to keep on doing what we've always done. And through this growth-based process, we begin to learn that we can become more. And as we become more, we start to realize that, well, if we could achieve this goal, maybe we could achieve other things in our life. And that's the amazing thing about growth, that you can take success in any one area of your life and actually begin to apply it over every area. That's what the Cabral Concept is all about. I thank you for really being a part of this journey for the past 4 years. And I'm excited that we're on episode 1500, and I can't wait to check back in with episode 3000 in another 4 years or so from now. So again, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. Thank you for your reviews, your sharing of the episodes, and of course, your continued listens. All right, let's dive now into our community's questions. We are answering all things health, wellness, weight loss, and anti-aging. So the first question today is coming in from Anonymous. And Anonymous is asking, hi, Dr. Cabral. I read a post on the Facebook detox group regarding the 21-day detox. The person's concerns was after the 21-day detox, it released heavy metals which seeped in the bloodstream as this detox pathways were not functioning due to MTHFR. This person started not feeling as well and had some symptoms affecting their thyroid. My question is, would you suggest for someone who has this sort of reaction, what would you suggest for someone with this type of reaction? Any dealing with detox pathways? Many thanks. Yeah, so the thing is this. The detox doesn't begin to necessarily unlock stored toxins. So if you do a heavy metal detox, we're going to begin that natural chelation process. We're going to remove those things from the body. What a functional medicine detox does, and so Anonymous, I'm going to answer your question. Absolutely. I appreciate you bringing it up. But you'll learn all about it in depth in a 2-hour course that's absolutely free, at least for now, at equilibriumnutrition.com/detox-course. All right. So here's what a functional medicine detox does, is it actually helps open up the liver detox pathways to eliminate what is free circulating in the bloodstream. So we are not going in and actually extracting from brain tissue, from muscle tissue, from cells. The only way that would happen is actually with fat loss, which absolutely can happen. But what we are doing then is supplying you with the phase 1 and the phase 2 detox nutrients. Phase 1 are going to be a lot of your vitamins. They're going to be some minerals. And in phase 2, you're going to get more of your sulfur-based amino acids. So this allows for what's called liver conjugation, the cytochrome P450 pathway, and then we're looking at our phase 2 detox pathway. Now, what does this mean for someone with MTHFR, which stands for methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase issues? Well, it means that that person could have issues with detox. There's no doubt about it. They might have other pathways that are broken down as well. But the actual functional medicine detox actually gives them the nutrients needed to help with an MTHFR gene mutation. I have one myself. So just letting you know, I have to deal with the same exact things. It's why my body's much more prone to inflammation. But here's the thing, that the detox actually supplies you with those nutrients. And it's not going to affect the thyroid. So even if you do the 21-day detox, it's a shorter period of time that's not going to begin to lower thyroid-based issues. I would look to other things going on. Were they very stressed during that week in addition to the detox? Did they begin to eat foods that were not the best foods for them, even healthy foods? So we have to look beyond that, because I would hate for anyone not to do a functional medicine detox, whether with Equilibrium Nutrition or another functional medicine company, because they're worried about an MTHFR, et cetera. Again, always work with your physician if you're under physician's care, but we're talking about improving the overall body and certainly not hindering the detox processes. I mean, if you don't detox, what's the alternative? The alternative is that these things are allowed then to stay in the body. So Anonymous, thank you for writing in. Appreciate it. Hi, Dr. Cabral. Thank you for all you do and to help people. My spouse seems to have proteinuria. He has been seeing a neurologist who confirms that there seems to be no explanation for the protein found in his urine, so he suspects benign microscopic changes to the kidneys that may be causing this. That is on one hand a relief, but on the other hand frustrating. He never had foam or bubbles in the urine, so he knows something is not normal. Ironically, since we were cleared by a nephrologist, we commenced your detox, and the bubbles in the urine have increased. We are frustrated, confused, and feeling rather hopeless. If you could help us figure out where to go from here, we would be grateful. My spouse is 37 years old, plays hockey twice a week, has never smoked, eats a clean plant-based diet. He has been doing TCM acupuncture and teas to strengthen his kidneys, but the bubbles in his urine persist. Thank you in advance for your compassion and determination to help people like my spouse who wants to help themselves but are at a loss for how to do that. Okay, Natalie, happy to help with this one. I apologize. I've been actually doing consultations all day, and I have a nice little break, which very suiting that I get to do episode 1500 on an all-day private wellness client consultation day. So what I'd like to share with you is this. When running blood work, I would love to see what his lactase dehydrogenase is, his LDH. And I would also like to see what the albumin number is, what the globulin number is, AG ratio. I'd like to see a urine-based dipstick if there is protein in the urine. I would like to see if there's ketones in the urine. So here's what can happen. Let's say your husband's on a lower carb diet and has been, not just on the detox, but in general. Well, what can happen is we start to break down muscle tissue. Let's say he's very lean. Well, we start to break down muscle tissue. Remember, this catabolism, it can be your own protein, can be your own muscle. This may have absolutely nothing to do with a kidney-based issue. I know that your doctor says that it may be, but I think they're just drawing at straws, right? They're saying that it's possible that it's this, but they don't know that. I don't know if they've done an actual, he suspects, right? So they don't know that. Now, here's the thing. It could be the body breaking down because of too few calories, too much exercise, too much weight loss. It could be one of those things. So what I'd suggest is we actually make sure that there's better digestion. There's no weight loss. There's actually some weight gain. And that's really important. I see this all the time in my practice. The other possibility is this, is that your husband may actually be having issues with intestinal permeability. So now we have actual amino acids, larger amino acid strains entering the bloodstream from the gut, and that's from increased intestinal permeability, also called leaky gut. So I do recommend at least the Candida metabolic and vitamins-based test, and I would start with those recommendations right there, and I hope that absolutely moves you forward because very often those are the actual causes. All right, and again, look for any stresses in the body. GI, viruses, weight loss, too much exercise, too low carb, too low protein, etc. Joanna's up next. Hey there, Dr. Cabral. My question is, what is the difference with the adrenal hormone and the adrenal thyroid hormone lab compared to the Dutch test? The Dutch test is, I believe, looks at different forms of estrogen and different pathways, etc. I hear it's a little bit more extensive. What are your thoughts? Thanks, Joanna. All right, Joanna, I've answered this question many, many times. So let me see if I can find this. And I'm just going to refer to it because at stevencabral.com/podcasts, I've talked about an IHP. I've talked about it on the podcast, and I never want to disparage any other company, so I will not do that. However, I do not prefer when you do not get saliva-based samples, and I also have tested labs in my own double blinds, meaning I paid my own money, took them all at the same time, looked at them. I got the same results with blood versus the saliva and the thyroid adrenal hormone that we use, and not the Dutch. So what I would do is I would check out all of the previous episodes. You can go to stevencabral.com/podcasts and simply type in Dutch test. You will find my answers there. Remember, we always go with best in class. We don't own any of the labs. So a lot of people think that Equilibrium Nutrition owns the actual labs we promote, and we don't, not at all. What we do is a doctor has to sign off on your lab, even if it's a functional medicine lab test. So we sign off on it, and then we ship them to you, and then you can take them. Now, the difference between the adrenal hormone test that we have and the thyroid adrenal hormone is the adrenal hormone actually looks at your estrogen and progesterone, your DHEA and testosterone, cortisol 4 times per day, and it will stop there. Now, your thyroid adrenal hormone looks at all of those, plus vitamin D, plus TSH, plus free T4, plus free T3, TPO antibodies, hemoglobin A1C, and insulin. So hopefully that lets you know the difference. Most people go with the thyroid adrenal hormone, but of course, if you just want to look at the adrenals and the sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, DHEA, and testosterone, you can definitely do that as well, especially if you are not dealing with any thyroid issues, that you typically run your TSH and it's between 0.5 and 2, and that you don't have any thyroid-based symptoms, which of course you can check out on, episode 1496. I just did another thyroid-based show, and you can always go to stevencabral.com/podcasts, and up in the scroll banner at the top, you can look at the thyroid-specific shows, and there are about a dozen of those right there. All right. Thank you, Joanna, for writing in. Jamie's up next. Belated Happy New Year, and thank you again for all you do. May 2020 be another amazing year for you and your team. Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate that. That's kind of you. Quick question. Recently, around New Year's Eve, I started waking up and my eyes would be mildly stinging each morning. There's a little dried buildup around them, but not too much when I wake up. It takes about an hour for my eyes to stop the symptoms in the morning, but it's making the morning difficult to wake up early. I definitely had a cheat meal, too many, over Christmas, and I'm wondering if that's the result. I started the 3-week detox January 5th, so I'm 1 week in now. Oura Ring tells me my sleep is generally good this last week, but symptoms are still there. I have 2 more weeks to go in the detox, so excited by that, but thought I would reach out as to the sore eyes are frustrating my morning routine. Thank you again for all you do, and best wishes to you and your family. Best wishes to you, Jamie, as well. This question came in on January 12th. So, okay, let's see here. Waking up in the morning, and the eyes are mildly stinging. There's a little dried buildup around them. Okay, so let's look at this. Ideally, there's not a lot of buildup of what people typically call sleepies in their eyes. Now, this can happen from food sensitivities, no doubt about it. That's a big one. Another one is overall systemic-based inflammation, and I think that's what Jamie's suffering from right now. So here's what we may be looking at. We might be looking at issues inside of the gut that have to do more with SIBO or potentially even bacterial-based overgrowth. The reason why I'm just leaning there is because over the holidays, Jamie, like most people, myself included, had a couple more cheat meals than they typically would. And what this can do is it can actually dysregulate blood sugar as well. When we get highs and lows in blood sugar, we often get highs and lows in cortisol. Those highs and lows in cortisol, called glucocorticoids, often disrupt the homeostasis of our blood sugar. That can cause drier eyes, drier mouth, drier skin. And the reason it does that is from the inflammatory effect, but also the moving of what's called the autonomic nervous system towards the sympathetic nervous system, which for many people causes the dry eyes, dry lips, dry mouth, dry skin. And those are all symptoms as well. I'm willing to bet that Jamie right now, doing the 3-week detox, getting back on a healthier eating routine, making sure that she is staying hydrated or he is staying hydrated, is able to get back on track. So if not, Jamie, write in again. We're happy to obviously help you with this. And of course, we would definitely be looking at the Big 5 or at least running the Candida metabolic and vitamins test, as well as the hair, tissue, and mineral in terms of stress and electrolytes. Thank you, Jamie. Julie's up next. I've been recommended this detox by a friend. I have Crohn's, colitis, and wondered if it's suitable. I currently have infusions and take specific medications for treatment. Is it okay to do the detox in these medications? Also, which would you suggest? Thanks, Julie. Okay, so if you are asking a medical-based question and you're on specific types of infusions, I would definitely check with your medical doctor. So I can't provide medical advice over the podcast. A lot of questions today about the detox. This is unusual, but of course, sometimes, as they say, when it rains, it pours. It's all on one, and that's okay. So what you could most likely do, though, Julie, that may be okay, is use the daily nutritional support as your morning smoothie to ease into a very light daily detox-based routine. So you'd simply download the free smoothie guide, completely free, on any of the podcast pages. You just scroll down, episode's 1500. So just go to stephencabral.com/1500, scroll down that page, click on that smoothie report, download it, and of course, you can follow the smoothies. And you can add 2 scoops of the daily nutritional support. Simply put, as long as you're allowed to have an activated multivitamin, extra B vitamins, daily detox factors, some fiber, 15 grams of a vegan-based protein. It's dairy-free, corn-free, egg-free, nut-free, everything free. It's super clean, super hyperallergenic. That would at least be a way to get started. And then after you're done with the infusions and different types of treatments, maybe you'd be able to get on that 7, 14, or 21-day detox after that. It's the same with chemotherapy-based treatment. You're definitely going to want to most likely wait till after your treatments, but really you're going to be wanting to work hand in hand with your specialist or physician since they know you very well. And there you go. Okay, Judy's up next. Hello, I recently heard on a podcast that you were at a convention in Vegas. I frequently have conferences in Vegas along the Strip, and I was curious where and what did you eat to stay healthy during this time where people are surrounded by lots of unhealthy options? That's a great question, Judy. Thank you for asking that. So it was always a dream of mine for the past 10 years, maybe longer, to go to the Consumer Electronic Summit, CES. And it basically shows you the future of smart devices, smart homes, and even though you know I'm against EMFs, it's fun to see these things. It's the future of biotech-based devices. You know that my future is definitely in biodata. I absolutely believe that, and I also believe in real-time data. So, like, how amazing would it be if you were working with one of our certified coaches, because obviously this has to be looked at over the scale, that we were able to track your data in real time. So that meant that I was able to see your heart rate variability, your sleep from the night before, your resting heart rate, your breath rate, your body temperature. I could literally tell you if you're about to get sick or not, if you're overtrained or not, because I would be able to see swings in your normal data. I mean, I'm telling you, this is the future. Now, is it here today? No, but it will be about 10 years from now. There's no doubt about it. It will be. And I can't wait for it because it's what I want to be a part of, because I'll be doing the same thing I'm doing today. It's just an add-on. It's just one more thing where I'll be able to see that data and I believe help people customize things to an even greater degree. How much exercise is too much? Well, now we know, bioindividuality. Are you at the right calories? Yes or no? Too many carbs, too little carbs? Yes or no? And like, again, we're going to be able to tell you that. How close can you eat before bed before you then start to get poor sleep quality? What is your ideal time to go to bed? Somewhere between 9 and 9:30, 9:30 and 10, 10:30 to 11, like it will tell you that. And I found that myself. I mean, if I go to bed at 9 o'clock, actually my sleep isn't as good if I go to bed closer to 9:30, 10. And maybe that's based on my current schedule, current work schedule. I agree with that, but it's still the data. and I get to see that. So, okay, that's the first part of your question. The second part is, what did I do to stay healthy while in Las Vegas? Well, the thing is this, I never eat breakfast out. So I'm already saved from one meal. So my breakfast, let's say it's 8 o'clock or so in the morning, I'm simply, well, here's the thing. I'm always going to Whole Foods. I'm going to an Erewhon, a Sprouts, or a Whole Foods, or whatever their organic natural grocer is in the area. And everybody pretty much has one. All major cities have one. And that's what I do. And so what I do is I'll just pick up whatever I need. Now, my daily nutritional support that I use every single morning in my little supplement case comes with me. So all I do is have a shaker. I shake up my daily nutritional support, and then I go out to a Whole Foods, and I just buy some berries or buy an organic apple. And then that becomes my breakfast. It's super easy. It's light. It's easy to digest. I feel great. And then for lunch, what I need to do is just work a little bit, because it's a little hard. You can't eat at a convention, because all you're getting at the convention is sandwiches and fried food. So one of the days that I knew I would be at the convention from essentially 8 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night, because I had business meetings, I had all sorts of things going on, I actually brought 2 of my whole food bars. So you can go to Equilibrium Nutrition. A lot of people don't even know that we have whole food bars that are plant-based, that are paleo. They're low glycemic. I mean, they're fantastic. So I had 2 of those for my lunch, and I carry around 1.5 liters of water, so a big water, and just with electrolytes, and that's it. So it's a light lunch that day. But then I'm having a nice dinner, and I go out to dinner. Now, for the most part, you're able to find good dinner places. So one night I had Mexican. I had great Mexican food. And again, not a cheap meal, just good quality, great Mexican food. I love Mexican food. And then one night we were at what's called an Asian fusion-based restaurant, and I had fish that night. I had vegetables. I think it came with some rice, and that's what I did. So it doesn't have to be complicated. It honestly doesn't. And while I'm traveling as well, I'm most likely giving myself one flex meal to go to a restaurant that has an amazing whatever, right? And I'll have that and I'll enjoy it. So that's what I do when I'm traveling. One more thing that I'll share with you is this. I never eat airplane food. And I suggest you do the same. It's basically microwaved or it's preheated. It's filled with a lot of preservatives. It's not good quality food. So on an airplane, I always bring an apple, or I bring some easy to carry along fruit. I have my whole food bars, or oftentimes that might be a fasting based day. And of course, I'm drinking a lot of water along with that. And then when I land, okay, then I can get out. I can get a decent quality meal. I can go I've gone directly to a Whole Foods before with my roll along bag. I always do carry on. So again, does it take a little bit extra effort? Just a little bit. But what I find is this: if I do that, I have the same energy. Like, I have good energy. If I do that, I can sleep well. If I do that, I'm in a better mood. And that's what I'm there to experience life. Like, this is a journey, right? So I got to go to an event that I've been looking forward to for a decade, and now I was able to go to it, and I was actually meeting with a lot of companies out there in the biotech-based space with these wearable-based devices, and I had a ton of fun. So what I do is I focus on my why, which is the gratitude that I get to do these amazing things. And then the food is there to enjoy, but also there as my nutrition for the day that allows me to do the things that I love. So hopefully that was a helpful answer, Judy. Thank you so much for writing in. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into the Cabral Concept and helping me celebrate in this small way, episode 1500. I appreciate every single one of you. You're the best. Thank you. Take care. And I'll speak with you tomorrow on our Motivation and Mindset Monday. I want to sincerely thank you for your support of this podcast. I couldn't do it without you, and I mean that. I truly do. I also want to make sure you knew that we now have multiple ways for you to find your answers to the most difficult health, wellness, weight loss, and anti-aging questions. You can find podcast-specific topics like thyroid, adrenal, hormones, sleep, digestion, Ayurveda, and many more at stevencabral.com/podcasts that will then link you to your favorite Apple, Spotify, and other podcast players. Plus, all new podcasts and weekly exclusive video content is being added to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Stephen Cabral. And that's Stephen with a PH. Head on over and subscribe so that you don't miss any of the exclusive content. Lastly, if you've ever found any of my podcasts or books to be helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a review on iTunes or your favorite media player for the podcast. Rating and subscribing to the YouTube and podcast allow me to reach more and more people and help spread my mission of healing throughout the world. Thank you again for being a part of this movement.